Minister, good morning to you. So talk to us about this plan. Perhaps give us the key elements of this detailed plan that you've submitted.
Good morning, Xoli, and good morning to your listeners. And maybe firstly, before I talk about the plan as you've asked me, one must appreciate the efforts that have been done by Minister Mthethwa in actually announcing the name change of District 6 from Zonneblom to its original name, District 6. Obviously, 60 days will have to be put aside to allow for comments from citizens, whether they object or they accept. And one hopes that the community of Cape Town in particular and South Africa will actually support this initiative to restore the dignity of people of District 6, in a way rewriting our history in a correct way. What has happened in the District 6 matter, as you know, in 2000, a claim was actually settled for those claimants who had applied between the period 1996 and 1998. Part of that settlement agreement saw government, through the Land Claims Commission, making a contribution of 332 million towards the redevelopment for those communities who opted for development as opposed to financial compensation. Other claimants, out of the number of more than 2,000 who had applied, they actually opted for financial compensation. The city of Cape Town, as well as the province, also made their contribution towards ensuring that those who wanted to go back to District 6 can have an opportunity to do so. 42 hectares of land was then earmarked, and fortunately, that part of 42 hectares is actually where District 6 was, even though the extent might be smaller in terms of the size of the land to date. The city also committed that they would put bulk infrastructure towards the redevelopment. So the beneficiary trust set up a development trust which was going to be responsible for the redevelopment of units for those who wanted to go back. The first phase was done also with the contribution of the Ministry of Human Settlement, who actually gave grants to those who qualified. Yeah. The second phase was undertaken but could not complete. It was at this point that in the early 2012, the claimants actually approached the Minister of Land Affairs, then Minister Nkwinti, to assist in the completion of the development process. Minister Nkwinti made the commitment that as government, we will assist the claimants. So the process continues in terms of that redevelopment process. However, not at the pace at which all of us had hoped to, given the challenges that were there, as well as the financial constraints.
Let me squeeze in this question then, Minister. I'm sorry to cut in,
yes,
but in the interest of time, so you're talking about time frames, and that's what probably the people there, the beneficiaries, want to know very urgently. What are the time frames going to be, and also importantly, who's going to fund this round of development?
In terms of the round of the development, the time frames we're planning to actually complete this process within 3 years. We have been consulting as part of the court process with the claimant on the outline of the plan in terms of exactly how the development would look like. So that is what we have presented in court as its requirement yesterday, following the consultations that we've been having with the claimant as well as their representatives. So the funders is the state still in the 3 spheres of government who have made their contribution to actually complete this plan.
All right, Minister. So what's the next step, therefore, after the submission of this detailed plan?
The next phase is actually to commence with the construction. Therefore, it means the appointment of the construction team, including the engineers, professionals who would actually be working in this implementation of the plan. The city's engineers have been working with us, and we will be starting the process once we actually have the go-ahead from the court as per the requirement.
Minister Thoko Didiza, thank you very much for your time. She is Land Reform Minister.